What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soul Break. Thanks for stopping by my channel. So today I have a really fresh pickup, and these are the Air Jordan 5s in the Anthracite colorway. These released in my home country today, and I was able to cop a pair online. They sold out basically instantly online, but apparently these are just sitting around in stores on shelves. So what I did was I just canceled my online order, and then I decided to, stop by a nearby store and then pick a pair for myself to review today. I really wanted to see this pair in hand because honestly, I think this is one of the best Jordan 5 colorways to release maybe in like the last 2 years in terms of like GR pairs, and I really wanted to see this in hand. So let's dive right into the shoe. As the color code suggests, the entire shoe is predominantly anthracite color and black and wolf gray. And on the side here, we see that this black mesh material all on the mid panel. And it's really interesting because we hardly ever see this type of material used on the Jordan 5s. And right off the rip, I think the quality is quite okay. It doesn't feel cheap at all. And I think the stitching here is on point. And really, they did a good job of highlighting the shoe by using this kind of like white threads for the stitching. And I think that gives a lot of like taste and contrast to the overall look of the shoe. And what's really interesting is that here we see that typical like perforation part on the mid panel. And what's interesting is that instead of using their sort of like typical like rubber material or plastic material, they decided to use this 3M reflective material here. And as you would probably see in the thumbnail, this part is entirely 3M reflective. And to me, I don't think the material feels cheap at all. I was expecting to have this like feel really like plastic and all, but it does have some give to it, and I don't think it would be very uncomfortable like wearing these. So I think it's a pretty cool touch, very new take from Jordan brand on their Jordan 5 model. And moving towards the front of the shoe, you see more of that black mesh material on the toe area. And what's interesting is that using this sort of mesh material prevents any sort of like creasing. Obviously, you would get some sort of creasing if you wear these enough, often enough. But I know some people really hate their leather toe boxes creasing. I personally have no problem with that, but I think it would be better for people who kind of have that taste. And on the tip of the toe, the mudguard is constructed using this suede or sort of nubuck material in this wolf gray color. And what's interesting is that I really wasn't expecting like great quality on this, but this suede or nubuck material does not feel cheap to the touch. It is quite smooth, and you get that kind of like effect of changing colors when you kind of swipe it from left to right. And I think that's a really I think it's a nice step up in terms of materials. And once again, they use this kind of white stitching to add contrast and a little more pop to the overall look of the shoe. And moving towards the upper of the shoe, this is where things get really interesting. Now, they use this kind of like cream colored like plastic panel for the eye stay. And I think that's a really cool touch. For some reason, this really cream colored plastic gives off like this kind of like vintage feel for me. And I think it's really cool. It really contrasts well with the shoe, and it does have the shoe pop a little bit more. And then we see these typical Air Jordan 5 black cotton laces factory laced onto the shoe. And what's really cool is that the tongue, once again, we see that perforated detail, but the tongue is not entirely mesh. It's actually, once again, that 3M reflective material used for the tongue. And you'll probably see in the thumbnails, but this part is also reflective when you kind of like flash your light against it. And I think it's a really, really cool touch. It really gives off like this kind of I'm not really sure how to put it in words, but it's kind of got that flair to it. And I think that's a really, really cool touch in terms of design. And then moving a little bit more upward, we see that typical Air Jordan 5 plastic lace lock. It's all clear. There's nothing too special about it. In terms of the lace locks, I personally prefer like taking them out and then just doing the laces. And that's what I did for my Off-White 5 pair. And yeah, it just kind of like throws me off. So I kind of prefer not having the lace lock on here at all. And then the tongue here is that kind of really matte black mesh tongue. And then the Jordan Jumpman is muted out because it's used embroidered in black as well, so it's just black and black. You can't really see it from afar, but I don't know. I think it's a pretty subtle touch. And on the back of the tongue, we see that typical Air Jordan text stitched onto the back of the tongue. There's nothing too crazy about that. And on the inside, we see that black sock liner. I guess this is like kind of like cotton material. It's really smooth and well padded. Air Jordan 5s are known to be very well padded overall. And I think it's a pretty comfortable shoe. And then we see more of those plastic panels here on the side. Now, what's really interesting is like I think the back side of the shoe. So for one thing, here on the heel counter, the heel counter is once again constructed using that very smooth, kind of premium feeling suede material in this wolf gray color. And for some reason, Jordan Brand decided to do this kind of the 23 embroidery. I think they typically do these on like OG retro pairs, but for some reason they decided to stitch these on. And honestly, I think it's a really cool touch. I think it's Jordan Brand did a really nice job of like putting this detail on the shoe, kind of giving it more that like classic or like premium feel to the overall touch. It's a small detail, but it's really cool, and I think it goes a long way. And once again, the entire heel counter is outlined by that white thread stitching here. And on the back of the shoe, we got that Jordan Jumpman embroidered in black once again. And we obviously don't have the Nike Air swoosh here because this is a non-OG colorway. But I don't prefer Jordan Jumpmans on the back, but for some reason, I think it works for this pair. Obviously, it's kind of muted out, so you won't be able to see it. But you know, I think it is what it is. And on the ankle area, you see that typical Air Jordan 5 bubble on the side with more of that wolf gray suede or nubuck material. And then that kind of lines the entire ankle part here. And then the medial side is basically the same deal. Now the midsole, the midsole is really cool as well. It's all done in that black rubber material. And here we see the kind of air unit, the air bubble, and it's got kind of the cream colored columns inside. And here we see the typical Air Jordan 5 shark teeth detail, all done in silver. And I think this is what reminds a lot of people of the black metallic 5s. And I think it really goes well with the overall colorway of the shoe because you've got that 3M reflective materials. And this is done in using that kind of like shiny silver paint with all the black speckles. And it's one of the coolest parts of the shoe here. And then this is probably one of my favorite parts of the shoe, and it is the outsole. It's really interesting to say that because I don't know, I hardly ever pay attention to outsoles, but something about this outsole is just really cool. I mean, I like the icy outsoles that they have on the Jordan 5 Fire Red Retros, but for some reason this really cream colored outsole is so cool. It goes so well with the overall colorway of the shoe, and it's got that kind of vintage feel. I mean, if you wear these enough, these are gonna kind of like yellow out, but it's gonna be a really cool way to see your shoes kind of get older and kind of age, because I don't know, it's just this kind of milky cream color that really like it works so well for this overall model. And then underneath that, we got that Jordan Jumpman printed in black. And then the traction pad is basically the typical traction pad we see on Jordan 5 models. And on the mid side of the the outsole, we got that black outsole with the Jordan text embossed or like imprinted into the material here. And on the back side, we see more of that cream colored outsole or traction pad here in the heel area. And yeah, once again, I think the outsole is so nicely executed. I prefer this sort of outsole over the kind of like the bluish tinted outsole that we've been seeing lately. I don't know, it's just something so like, it works really well with this entire model. And basically the other side of the shoe is the same deal. And I know a lot of people have been comparing this model to, say, like the Off-White 5 Jordan in like the muslin colorway. But I think this pair is really cool in its own respect, especially because of like the new, like kind of like the switch up of the materials and the way that they like kind of like added like small details like this, the 23 embroidery, as well as like the choice of like such subtle and nice shades of color. Because I really like the this kind of anthracite or like wolf gray colored suede here. And then the outsole is just like phenomenal. I think this is a really good move from Jordan Brand. Now I do have some kind of like you know, I really would have preferred this pair to have like the entire shoe covered in this anthracite or like wolf gray suede, because that's the original mock-up that we've seen online, and I really kind of wanted the final design to look exactly the same as the mock-up, but instead we got this black mesh material across the more than the half of the shoe. And I don't know, it kind of threw me off at first when I saw the pictures of the final product online. But you know, I at the time I thought, you know, why did Jordan Brand do this? Why did they decide to kind of like swap out all of the suede material for this kind of weird mesh material? But having said that, having these in hand really changed my mind. I think it's a really clean pair, and probably having this mesh material would probably give you a little bit more comfort in your feet, and then it's going to be a little bit lighter than the suede shoe. But still, I think it would have been really nice if they just decided to go with the overall like suede look for the shoe. I think that would have been killer, but you know, it is what it is. I still think this is a really cool pair from Jordan Brand. Now, sizing wise, you know, I actually tried on half size down in the store, and I don't think it would be a problem just because like Jordan 5s are pretty roomy to begin with, but it did feel a little tight, so I just decided to go like true to size for this. There's no problem wearing true to size for my off-white pairs because those pairs tend to have all of their paddings removed, but this, I think this shoe still keeps its padding, so I think true to size should be okay. If you want that extra wiggle room in the toe box area, I think going half a size might be all right. But you know, in general, I think true to size is just the way to go. Wearability wise, I mean, come on, this is just a black gray Jordan 5. There should be no problem with it unless you have like problem with wearing Jordan 5s in general. This should be a very easy to rock shoe in the cold winter, or maybe like in the summer with shorts. It should be just an easy shoe to pull off. And then resale wise, I haven't really checked the price online, but I don't think there's any resale value for this. So if you're planning to flip these, I don't think it would be a good idea to pick these up. But if you're just looking to pick up a pair for your personal wear, I mean, the resale like premium should be very minimal. So I think it would definitely be worth it to pick this pair up for the extra like couple of bucks, you know. And if you really want to try out a pair of Jordan 5s, I think this would be a pretty decent option because, you know, the colorway is just really simple, really clean. It wears nicely, and you know, it's just a well-constructed shoe in general. So yeah, you could probably sense the excitement in my voice of explaining this shoe. I think it's a, you know, it's a really clean pair. Probably one of the best Jordan 5s to release this year, apart from maybe the Raging Bulls that are coming up. But anyways, yeah, that's just, you know, that's my thought. Anyways, that's it for today. I really hope you found this video enjoyable to watch. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please hit that subscribe button. I have more content coming really soon, and I'll be putting up more videos really soon. Thanks for watching.